husband is having a crisis and his family is blaming me for it.
Oh, man.
And this comes directly from the OK Storytime subreddit, and also trigger warning for substances and mentions of a I, 35, non-binary, have been friends with Kara, 32 female, since we met on a trip in 2017. Kara and her partner Aaron, 34 male, have been living together for 7 years and married a month or so shy of 1 year. Mainly because Aaron and Aaron's family would prefer if kids were born in wedlock. Kara didn't have super strong feelings against a wedding, but was willing to do it if it was important to Aaron and she badly wants a kid. By the way, this comes from Flying Socks, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, I attended the wedding. It was a phenomenal wedding, and literally my fave of all weddings I have attended. Hands down, despite my role essentially being half to pitbull, block, and or manage both mother-in-laws if necessary, which fortunately it wasn't necessary because they both behave for once. They're both quite image conscious and can at times put on their best face for company. Aaron and Kara also rent their house from Aaron's family. I've also become friends with Aaron, who is a fantastic guy. What is not so fantastic is Aaron's family. Aaron has a heavy drinker mom with a bad victim complex in and out of rehab so frequently some rehabs now refuse her. And his father passed when he was young, preteen.
I didn't know that was an option to refuse someone that's trying to go to rehab.
Yeah, well, it's like if you're like constantly leaving or not listening to the rules,
not taking it seriously.
Because also I think at a certain point prioritize the other people there, and if they're making trouble for the other people. While Aaron has several older siblings, most of them have their own families with multiple children, and none of the other siblings live as close to his mother as Aaron does. Aaron's mother frequently takes advantage of his kindness, making demands to drive her places, pick her up from places, or bring her things, especially when she falls off the booze wagon. Aaron's mother has a useless boyfriend who lives at her house and assists her in falling off the wagon. Aaron's mom has wandered off and needed to be retrieved from ditches and hospitals and police stations on multiple occasions. No rehab has ever stuck, and nothing is this woman's fault, ever. Also, no one confronts her on the fact that she's a terrible and emotionally and verbally harmful person due to her turning on the waterworks and pulling that "my husband is deceased, poor me" card. And I'm an addict, it's a disease. Kara has pleaded with Aaron and his siblings to have the mother's license suspended or her car taken away or the mother put under some kind of restrictive order because they live in a rural area and said mother continues to drive under the influence. How does she still have her license? But this would require more cooperation from the elder siblings, and they just rather exploit Aaron's time and energy to manage the problem. Aaron's other siblings often ask for his help, including getting Kara to watch their children, asking Aaron to do favors for them, and making Aaron manage Aaron's mom for them all, and want him to visit them, but act cold towards Kara. Don't visit Kara and Aaron's home, and even speak in another language when Kara is around on purpose. Kara has been taking language classes to better learn her husband's other language and set her vows in it, but isn't fluent yet, and the family knows this as they congratulated her pronunciation of her vows at the wedding. They don't speak to her directly in person at family gatherings or on the phone. They don't visit her, and they use Aaron as a proxy to transfer information, despite her having lived with Aaron for 7 years and all of them having attended her wedding. Aaron also works in retail at a store run by a family member. Let's call him Bobby. And at this workplace, Aaron frequently is encouraged to work multiple weeks up to a month without a day off. Whoa, yikes. He has not taken much of his accumulated leave and has not been given a raise in years. Bobby makes Aaron ultimately responsible for basically everything about the store, while he hasn't raised Aaron's pay, possibly ever, definitely in years. Is Aaron asking, though? That's my question. Bobby should be, but also you do have to sometimes advocate for your own, raise.
Yeah, you definitely do.
So
people either forget or don't
want to give you money if you don't ask.
Yeah.
Bobby does give Aaron an allowance of groceries that he must take from the shop, which is closer to convenience store than proper grocery, quite frankly, which does offset their bills somewhat, though not enough, in my opinion. Now, Aaron has been feeling depressed for several months, and a couple weeks after getting some low-dose antidepressants from his doctor, had a mental health episode that necessitated a 24-hour hospital emergency room visit, stuck in triage, plus more extreme meds, therapy, and a mandatory 2 weeks to a month off work and at home on bed rest. Aaron recently, 4 months ago, quit using devil's lettuce to focus on improving his health with Kara as this is a goal they have as a couple. While he had been a chronic user the last several years, largely due to Kara's influence, he has tapered off his usage quite a bit, though still used in order to go to sleep. And before he quit was down to about a third or less of his previous usage, nearly all at night right before sleep. Aaron does not use any other substances, while he occasionally dabbled while at a musical festival or two in previous years. He's not partaken in anything more than devil's lettuce in a year, and prior to that, his use was extremely rare as it made Kara uncomfortable. All that to say, Aaron unfortunately did not see an effective doctor, as the doctor he saw is of the mind that Aaron's mental health episode, which included a psychotic break of not knowing where he was and losing time along with other symptoms, was solely due to devil's lettuce withdrawal or substances and didn't put much weight on Kara's raised concerns regarding stress at Aaron's workplace. Plus, they just got a new puppy. Plus, she wanted Aaron to make a greater effort towards getting healthier so she could be healthy for a pregnancy. Plus, his mother. Plus, his unsupportive family. In addition to Aaron's recent bad sleep habits and stated depression. Terrible doctor.
Yeah, what?
Terrible doctor. You didn't look into it? You just went, oh, it's probably couldn't be anything else.
Yeah, what?
I'm sorry. He didn't know where he was?
Yeah.
What? Huh?
I mean, is that... Maybe I haven't been to the doctor in a while, but I feel like they would ask about that stuff, right? Like, or they should.
They should. A lot of times, doctors look for the easiest solution.
We've only got 5 minutes to talk to everyone.
Yeah, dude. I recently went into the doctor, and they literally gave me, like, 5 minutes. And I was like, do I do any stretches? And they were like, you're fine. I was like, okay.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Thanks.
And
which was not true. I was supposed to be doing stretches. They just didn't give me any.
Gosh.
But my PT did. The other problem, aside from the unhelpful doctor, is that Aaron is literally too nice of a person. He is kind of the glue in his family. And while everyone relies on him when he was in the emergency room, literally none of his family or any one of his friends showed up to help. His family called his phone, but he was having the episode that sent him to the hospital. So Kara was answering the phone, and even after she explained the situation, and these people have both their cell numbers, they continue to call his phone instead of hers. Why are you guys dumb? She just told you that he can't pick up his phone. Why are you calling his phone? They continue this behavior after he himself told them to just call Kara instead. When Kara called Aaron's brother to sit at the hospital for a couple hours and keep Aaron oriented and calm so she could go home and let the dog out, he did not come, nor could he go let the dog out. Kara's friends ended up doing that. Note, Kara had no friends in this area before she moved in with Aaron 7 years ago, and really only made friends within the past year, while Aaron knows essentially everyone in town at some level, having been raised in the house practically down the street from his own, which his mother currently occupies with previously mentioned POS boyfriend. When Kara went to Aaron's work to report he needed mandatory time off work, Bobby essentially told her that Aaron was probably hiding actual substances somewhere and lying to her about not taking any. She and the tests or the hospital ruled this out as negative, aside from one weird false positive that turned out to be caused by an interaction between the antidepressants and some OTC medication he took for sleep and pain relief. And when she insisted that Aaron was actually ill from stress and work and needed rest and time off, Bobby indicated that Aaron should and would be sent on a grippy sock vacation. I don't think he gets to say if that happens. That's his boss? I don't think he gets to say that happens.
Whoa.
No. I feel like you guys need to move, honestly. I feel like you need to move away, cut off your family.
From all of these people.
Move away, get a new job, get a new home, get Aaron away from this.
The boss
this is
was saying
crazy.
He needed a grippy sock vacation.
Because Kara said, hey, he needs some time off.
That's so incredibly frustrating because he needs the time off because he's so stressed out from work and is having these problems. Yeah. I mean, like, there might be other things involved, but the boss is just like, oh, like, if you are having such a hard time at work, maybe you maybe you really need to go to the mental hospital. My goodness.
You suck, dude.
That really sucks.
Then he had the audacity to ask when Aaron would be back at work, while never asking once how he was and insisting he knew better than Aaron's doctor, which maybe that doctor isn't smart, and tried to tell Kara what he thought Aaron should be doing for his health instead of the mandated meds, time off, and therapy.
Oh my God.
Things like just getting out of bed, getting back to routine, taking walks in the sun.
Just go exercise.
Have you tried being happy?
Have you tried just choosing to be happy? Smiling once in a while?
Have you tried just appreciating every day as they come?
I really wonder what job this is. Like, what do they do for work?
I have no idea. Aaron had not been sleeping properly for more than 4 uninterrupted hours at once in several weeks at the least, if not a month. The man needed sleep. When released from emergency, Aaron promptly slept for about 3 full days and nights, aside from using the bathroom, drinking water, and a few bites of food and his meds. Through his recovery thus far, Bobby has wanted to know when he's back to work. Aaron's siblings haven't helped and have barely shown up and often been more unhelpful than helpful when they have. Aside from one sister, she is nice, but she's the lone exception. While Kara's friends have been the ones to take their puppy out while there were an emergency and doctor appointments, and Kara's work that has been understanding of their situation. Regardless, Kara is having difficulty making Aaron fully realize how emotionally bad for him this situation is, and getting him to set appropriate boundaries with family and work. Kara wants them to move, not out of the country or even that far, like a couple hours drive, just so they aren't physically so close to Aaron's mother, and wants Aaron to get a job that isn't working under family. She's getting desperate trying to show Aaron the ugly truth of his family, but even after this episode has showed many of their true colors, she still finds him pushing back in conversations they have, making excuses or allowances for their behavior, or agreeing with her, but seemingly unsure how to do any of what she's asking. By the way, I'm just going to ask you guys to listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But there is a little bit left to this story. Do you have any final thoughts?
Why I oughta.
Why I oughta. Ain't that right?
Yeah, it's so frustrating. Because it is something that you have to learn. Like, I feel like I was in a spot at one point where I was like, no, I'm fine. I just am locking in. I'm good. But then it's like, okay, your body can't. Like, you can't put up with all of the, like, emotional stress. You need breaks and, like, time to rest. Even if you're not, like, physically doing a lot of work. Like, even if you're just, like, mentally locked into a stressful job, like, you need a break from that.
Yeah.
It sucks that, like, these people are how old and they haven't learned that you need breaks.
Yeah.
It's a terrible boss. I mean, like, that's a legal thing, actually.
It's just a legal thing.
Yeah.
And we can go from that standpoint of saying, like, you actually legally owe me this break and a raise.
Right. Pull that card.
But there's a little bit left. Kara is lonely, tired of being excluded, and tired of watching Aaron be exploited. She absolutely doesn't want to leave him, and quite honestly, apart from this specific lack of boundaries, he has a heart of gold and is the most caring, kind-hearted, funny guy you could ever hope for your friend to marry. But quite frankly, Aaron has literally always lived there and never traveled internationally before he and Kara got together. So we think part of the problem is just being too geographically close to these people. Now, I've gone on my own mental health journey and been stable in therapy and crisis-free myself for 3 years now. So I've been trying to help my friend, but Kara and Aaron live in a bit of an echo chamber and very far away from me. And most of the feedback Aaron is getting is pushing him to downplay his mental health, as per the backwardish attitude of their particular area of the country and the attitude of his particular family. Can anyone who's experienced a similar situation give some tips or advice on how to deal with setting boundaries with and or while exiting a similar toxic family situation? Kara and I will be all ears. But that is the end of that story.
My mother won't let me alter my engagement ring.
Keyword, your engagement ring.
This ring isn't technically mine.
Oh, shit. Dang it.
I'm 24 female. My cousin, 25 female at the time, passed away 5 years ago, and we were incredibly close. She left me her engagement ring in her will, and as I was moving so often, I didn't want to risk losing it, so I entrusted it with my father, who put it in a bank safe. By the way, this comes from Pirate Name 223, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKstorytime subreddit. So, I always thought I would use this engagement ring as my own, which my parents were very happy with, but the thought made me uneasy. It wasn't my ring. My partner and I have been talking marriage law recently, and he admitted that despite my mother's 50 female persistence, he wanted to pick out his own ring. Knowing this, I didn't want the ring sat in a bank safe for years, so I decided that with my cousin's fiance's blessing, I would have it made into an eternity ring. I thought it would be a nice way to wear it without looking like an engagement ring. I told my mother, and she lost her mind, saying that she often goes to the bank to see it and that she's in pieces afterwards. To which I replied that it was probably better I took it back and that I would lose it. But she never had any problem with me having it as an engagement ring, which it would have to be amended for me anyway because she had tiny fingers. After a lot of arguing back and forth, she said that she wanted to do something together as a family with it when I was 30. I said, why not this year for my 25th? And she said no. She put her foot down and said, if I take the ring back and alter it now, she wants nothing to do with me. I'm so torn. If my mom liked jewelry at all, I'd get one of the stones made into a pendant or something because she is clearly attached to this ring, but she won't even wear her own wedding ring. She hates the feel of it on her skin. But I don't want to wait another 5 years of it just sitting in the bank, costing money for it to be there, when I could be wearing it as a reminder of her. This is in no way an I want a new ring, la la la. I've wanted to do something with it for a long time, and I would have hung it on a necklace, but I'm very rough and I couldn't risk it snapping. Now, the engagement idea is definitely off the table. I would like to do something with it. Any suggestions on how to calm this situation down? There are some comments, but what are your comments, Sophia?
I feel like you should just not take the ring. There was a sentence there that confused me because it sounded like she would be upset if you either didn't take the ring or altered it.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if that's the case, then I guess it's like kind of lose-lose. But
right.
I do think in the long run, it'll be better for your mom if you just don't take it. Because she's clearly emotionally attached to it. So if anything happens to that ring, she's going to be like, ah.
She's clearly emotionally attached and way more than OP is.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's hard that the mom wants the ring to be like, I don't know, remembered or like used for
like day-to-day purposes.
Like, yeah, used for like a purpose, like to honor the cousin, but she wants it to be honored from another person honoring it. And
yeah,
it's like, well,
it's like you can have it.
It's like, well, yeah, you can't really make someone do that. You know what I mean? But there are some comments. Comment number 1 says, honestly, I don't think this is about the ring at all. Based on what you've said, it sounds like the real issue here is your mother and the way she's still dealing with your cousin passing. It's easy to say that that ring could be your engagement ring until it came right down to it. I suspect she'd balk then, but even if not, seeing that ring on your finger would represent your cousin to her. Someone, it seems, she misses very much. Comment number 2 says, that ring is your property, and at no time did you give up possession of it. Your cousin left it to you, not your mother or father.
That's a good point.
That is a good point. While it is nice that you want to respect your mother's feelings on the matter, you have no obligation to. Personally, I would call her bluff. Remember, she is the one ending the relationship, not you. If you still try and have a loving relationship and she says no, that is on her. Also, if your mother is still reacting that strongly after 5 years, I think she needs some therapy. That is not healthy for her. Opie says, thank you for this. I sometimes still struggle with the idea that it is mine. That's definitely the reason I didn't want it as my engagement ring. I did say to her that I offered her a compromise and that I was grateful she and my father kept it safe, but I suppose I'll just have to call her bluff, as you said. And there is an update.
Yeah. It's literally her ring, and the fiance did say, you know, you got the go-ahead.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess it's just like, it would probably be easier if you didn't take the ring in terms of like mom getting upset and everything, but it is yours.
Yeah. And
so you have a right to it.
Right. And that is a good point that the commenter made, that like this is just her not really letting go. And it's like, that makes a lot of sense. If someone passes and then you just have this one physical object, like non-animate object that is like representing that person and you're holding on to that, it's like you're not really letting go at all. You know, you're still, it's like denial a bit. So.
Absolutely.
We do have an update. So I have a massive positive update.
Yay!
I won't bother going back and editing the original post because it seems unnecessary now. One thing that became very apparent to me as I was replying to people was that I had missed out a very important part of the story that I hadn't realized, and I immediately understood why my mother was so upset.
Oh, okay.
When our family fell out after the funeral, my cousin was cremated and her ashes were scattered without us there. We didn't know where it is that she has been scattered, and I think my mother has always felt like she had no place to go when she wanted to grieve. She is very much the kind of person who, if my cousin had a grave, would go and see her regularly.
I mean, clearly, she goes to the ring regularly. She told us that.
I think eventually going to visit the ring in the bank became like her going to visit the grave, which is why she was so upset at the idea of it being taken away from her. Totally understandable now. After our argument, I decided to let the dust settle for the day, and the next morning she sent me a long message explaining that it was entirely my decision, and she thinks it would be about time something positive came from the ring instead of it being hidden away. I realized her saying this was a huge deal.
Great. That is so really lovely.
Oh, the ring is basically, it looks like an eternity ring away with stones all around the band, but with one big stone in the center, as you would expect on an engagement ring. I proposed the idea that seeing as I would be taking the middle stone out anyway, I have the middle stone made into a ring for her, so we both have a part of her. Oh, that's really sweet. And she was so happy she cried. Aww. I don't think this was ever about me amending the ring or wanting to do something special with it when I was 30. She just didn't want to lose her graveside, so to speak. My mother and I are very different. I will avoid anything that will intentionally upset me, and my grief comes out as and when it hits me. My mother kind of sets time aside to grieve, so she'll go through my cousin's photos or see the ring and let it out then. Both perfectly normal ways of grieving. I need to make it abundantly clear that my cousin was like a daughter to my mother. Her own mother wasn't very hands-on, and my parents loved her and took her on holidays with us. She spent every summer with us. I often say to people, I lost my cousin, and they look at me like, so?
What? Sorry, who's saying so? I'm sorry, if I said that I lost my cousin and people went, I'd be like, excuse me?
Yeah, what?
I'm very close to my cousins.
That's crazy.
That's insane. Wow.
I'm not even like that close, but I would still, what? That's crazy.
That's crazy.
They say that because they rarely see their aunts or cousins. But we were a very close-knit family. I don't think it's strange that my mother still grieves after 5 years, even if she's the aunt. However, I do believe that she would benefit from counseling, if not to deal with my cousin's passing, but the probability of my own.
Ugh.
I went to an excellent women's center when I lived in my mother's hometown that is a weekly session. You can do one-on-one or group sessions, and I've suggested to my mother that we both go to a one-on-one together. I think the idea of her going alone is too much for her. And by the way, you can go alone or with people over to Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, whatever your favorite podcast app is. Just search OK Storytime, because you're going to find full episodes with more stories just like this one.
Do it.
Go over there.
Do it.
Get over there.
Do it.
There's a little bit more to this story, but this sounds like a lovely.
It's lovely.
way.
I was totally wrong. The answer was to do what you wanted, and your mom came around.
Right.
My bad.
Compromise.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a really good idea to have a ring of her too, because she
Yeah.
clearly wants.
Clearly wants
it.
You know, she has an attachment to this ring, wants a connection to her niece,
Exactly.
and she gets that, and that's lovely. And Surly Sunshine says, very sweet, but mom still needs therapy to deal with her grief, which it does seem like she's going to,
Yeah.
which is good.
That's
or
great.
like some counseling in general.
Yeah.
So that's good.
There's a little bit more to the story. Also, I know there were a few people who implied that I didn't even want the ring if it had been in a safe for 5 years, or don't care that much if I want to take it apart. And it basically comes down to, I thought I would be using it as an engagement ring, so I left it in my parents' care while I moved houses and I traveled for fear of losing it. I love everything the ring symbolizes and the fact that it was given to me, but seeing the ring as it is on my own finger would just remind me of the fact that it's not on her finger. And as I said earlier, I'm not one to intentionally make myself upset. This way, my mother has a part of her which she can go to when she feels she needs to grieve, and I can carry around a part of her with me, which is what I feel I'd been missing. I did previously wear a necklace that she used to own, which said her name on it, but a lot of people thought that she was my sapphic partner, and explaining it every time made me cry. Haha. So that didn't last long. I'm also going to talk to my mom about perhaps planting a rose bush in our local park that would be dedicated to my cousin. You can do that in the UK if you pay a fee, so that she has somewhere better to go, a bank vault. That's so lovely.
It's great.
So lovely. And that makes sense. I mean, like, it's nice to have like a piece of jewelry or something like that that like reminds you of loved one that you lost, but having an engagement ring that you like have to wear all the time would probably be hard.
Yeah.
Like,
being like, this is like a physical representation of the loss of my cousin.
Yeah.
But also it's supposed to represent, you know, this new marriage and stuff. And so it's that kind of like dual meaning that's tough.
Yeah.
My sister wants to adopt my baby.
Without my permission.
I, 22 male, have been pestered by my parents and sister, 37 female, for the past 4 days now. My ex, 22 female, had a baby about a week ago. She kept telling me that she wanted this baby despite knowing I would only financially provide. We discussed termination and adoption. I didn't force her to either option. Now that the baby is here and in the NICU, my ex is nowhere to be found. What do you mean she's nowhere?
Oh, wow.
She had the baby and she booked it?
She's in the hospital gown, like with the stuff attached to her.
She's like, I gotta go. Ignored all my calls and texts. Nothing has been posted on her socials. Her parents can't even get in touch. One of the nurses handed me the car seat from my ex's car. By the way, this comes from Time Dragonfly 8179. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKstorytime subreddit. So, my sister says she's willing to step up and adopt this baby. I'm not comfortable with that, because her husband, 47 male, creeps me out. I don't have good feelings about him, so I found a nice couple who wants to adopt this baby. They have been visiting us at the NICU, getting to know me and spend time with the baby. I like this couple. My family doesn't, since they want a close adoption. Plus, the couple is 2 women and my parents are ignorant. Yoicks. The adoption will go through in a couple of weeks in case my ex shows up. For now, they could be the legal guardian until everything legal gets settled. Also, I took a paternity test and am the biological father. Am I the a-hole for not allowing my family to adopt this baby? And there is an edit and an update, but what do you think?
I don't know, because I can understand, like, if I was the sister and my husband wasn't creepy and everything was perfectly fine with my husband, and I would kind of want the baby. Like, I would be annoyed that they were just going with a stranger when it's like, well, hey, I've been trying to have a baby. Can I have it? You know, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
on that hand, yes.
Yeah.
But also, I completely, like, OP, you're not the a-hole for wanting... This is your baby.
Right.
This is your baby.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you get to decide as the parent what is best for your child.
Right.
And if you think that what is best for your child is not going with your sister and her creepy husband, that's what's best.
Yeah, exactly.
But there is an edit. I brought up some of the questions some of you had with the hospital liaison. I wasn't informed that my ex had asked about safe haven laws. I believe they were giving her or me a grace period to keep biological parents with the biological child. The couple was found with the help of hospital staff. They were looking to adopt another newborn, but that fell through. I was very vocal with anyone who would listen that I was not going to be a good dad and I needed help with options that I have. I mean, good on you, OP.
At least you're self-aware.
Well, but he's 22.
Oh,
that's
I didn't
so
realize
valid
that
to be like, it's a baby.
like, I'm
I
still
don't
a
know what to
child.
do. I wouldn't know what to do with a baby at 22.
I wouldn't know either.
I wouldn't know what to
Right,
do with the
Riley?
baby right now.
I think I'd know what to do with the baby right now
All
if I
right,
had one.
Riley, we're getting you a baby.
Let's go. I've always wanted one.
It's just off the streets.
Okay.
Perfect.
Cool.
Get ready.
Sweet. There's a lot of babies that always go across like the street I live on. They're just always being walked and stuff. We can just take one of those.
Yep, that's your baby now. I'm just kidding.
If a baby showed up on my doorstep crying, I will take it in and take as good care of it as I can.
Oh, yeah. And
That's a
we would just
different-
leave the baby on the...
Yeah, that's what it
baby.
sounds like.
That's totally exactly
that's what we're
happened.
doing. I'm an NPC. So what? Not the a-hole. They have no sway here. It's your baby and the mother isn't present. You're the de facto guardian. I hope the adoption goes through and the baby has a good life, loved by their parents, and is safe. I'm worried that your ex is dealing with postpartum depression or worse. She probably needs help wherever she is. OP says, the postpartum depression is worrying me. I still care about my ex. I also want this adoption to go through. Thank you for helping me feel better about the nonsense my family is putting me through. Erwin Flynn says, having a baby in the NICU is extremely traumatic too. And I'm assuming since the baby is in there, she had a traumatic birth on top of that. I'm glad that you care about your ex and worry about her. Hopefully she will get the help and care she needs. But make sure you take care of yourself too. All this must be hard on you as well. The hospital should have resources. Don't be afraid to utilize them. Don't listen to your family and always listen to your gut. Hugs from a NICU mom. And there is an update, folks. So let's get into it. The police have found my missing ex.
Wow. Good.
That's good. She was checked out by medical. I introduced her to the couple that want to adopt the newborn, and my ex agrees that they would be the perfect parents.
Aww.
I love this. The newborn will be going home with the couple after being cleared to leave. The couple is also going to pick the name. The adoption process is going to take a while. For now, they will have temporary guardianship over the newborn, and we've already started the process. My ex and I got plenty of photos with the newborn and some with the couple. I'm still no contact with my parents and told my sister how I really feel about her husband. She refuses to talk to me. I actually was gonna say that. That was gonna be my advice of like, tell her why.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna have a bad relationship with her kind of regardless, because she's still gonna take offense to you not giving her the baby.
Right.
But I think giving her the real reason is nicer, even if she might be offended.
Yeah, I really want to know like how
creepy
she took that.
I'm working on repairing my relationship with my ex because I still love her. I'm also working on repairing my relationship with her parents. She told me that it's okay to share the reason she took off. My ex says, I called you when I started having bad contractions, but you never answered. I took that as you fully committing to not being around for this baby, and I got scared. Nobody was there.
Aww.
You weren't there for me. I would have been there had I answered that phone call. I didn't answer because I was at work and I didn't know that she was going to give birth early. I feel terrible for putting her through that.
Aww.
And like, should a, soon-to-be parent realize that you should probably be taking any phone calls that's coming in early? Yeah, he's 22.
Yeah.
Doesn't know.
Yeah.
He's 22-year-old boy.
Yeah. And I mean, if the baby was in NICU, then it's like, it was
really
probably
early.
pretty early. So he probably didn't even think like that would be an option right now. So makes sense.
Probably advice for anyone who's pregnant.
Yeah.
New parents, take all calls.
Good to keep in mind.
But also, maybe shoot a text out.
Just like, hey, I'm at work.
Hey, baby. Edit. You know what? I'm going to be the a-hole here and let my ex handle the situation now that she's back. Obviously, her choice is better since she's the mother. She could decide to continue with the guardianship process for later adoption or to raise that baby with my financial support only. I'm wiping my hands about this situation and walking out. Going to focus on myself. Good luck to her. By the way, it would be our lucky day if you listened to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. And there is a little bit left to this story.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any final thoughts?
Well, it seems like things are turning up. We're figuring things out. We'll deal with the sister separately. But yeah, that makes sense. I mean, if the mother of the child is scared and so young, like that makes sense. That makes sense that she's scared and doesn't really know what to do. So glad she's back. I'm glad she is happy with that family as well. And the baby will be okay.
Baby will be okay.
Yeah.
I mean, regardless of whether or not, mom decides to take baby or you got two moms decide to take baby, I think baby's going to be okay.
Exactly.
But there's a little bit left. Comments. California Jade. Please start getting therapy. Individual therapy and then couples. You both would benefit so much from learning how to communicate with each other. I know pregnancy hormones can really mess with one's mind. I really wish all the best for both of you. OP says therapy's a great idea. I'll talk to my ex about it. I know she would benefit from seeing a professional after that kind of trauma. I need someone from this stressful event. Professor X says both of you require therapy, not just her. OP says, I'm seeing what my insurance can cover. I know I need to see a professional when, hate admitting this, I started crying in my car in the hospital parking lot. I really don't know why I was crying. I was having an okay day considering everything going on around me. Legrand Blue says, please could you confirm if I got this right? In your last post, you said your ex, or your still girlfriend, wanted to keep the baby even knowing you were not interested in raising it. You said you would merely fulfill financial obligations. Then she has contractions and calls you, but once you don't answer, she takes it as a confirmation you don't want to be physically involved for the birth and raising. That shatters her mentally. She has some sort of breakdown and she disappears the same day she gives birth. Must have been devastating both physically and emotionally, and is now found. The same day police finds her, you present her with a couple that wants to adopt the baby, and you now want to repair the relationship with her. What I'm worried about is that she is consenting to this adoption in an environment of pressure and in a very short time frame. I have no idea how this legally works and if she's allowed to change her mind at all before the official adoption takes place. She is. They already said that. Also, I feel that you want the adoption to take place much more than your ex taking the baby and you being financially responsible, even without being involved in its upbringing. You're also telling her now that you want to have a relationship again, if I interpreted this correctly, almost as if it would be a reward for her behaving, consenting to the adoption. Please do correct me if I am wrong. I wish to be wrong. I'm concerned for the baby's mom. That's all. That feels not correct. I mean, so, okay, first of all, OP was pretty involved up until he missed one call, and then she runs off. It doesn't seem like he was going to break up with her prior to that happening, unless I'm mistaken. Could be.
I think they were already...
Were they already broken up?
He kept referring her to as the ex, like the whole story.
Okay,
So
okay.
I think so.
Also, well, okay, then on the opposite end, it didn't sound like he was like, I'm getting back together with her. It just said, I want to...
He wants to repair things.
I want to repair things because I just had a kid with this person. So it doesn't seem like they're necessarily getting back together.
Yeah, that makes sense. In a normal breakup with no baby involved, you would usually just
break
part
up.
ways and you don't need to go to counseling for that. But in this situation, you definitely don't want to be like, hey, you just had our baby and put him up for adoption. I'm going to dip. I hope you bye.
Also, if it was just whoever wants to take it, I'm out of here. I don't want to pay for this baby.
Right.
Then he would give it to his sister.
Right.
OP says, I was not the one who broke things off. My ex ended our relationship when I told her I would only financially be supporting the baby. I would still have been in a relationship with her. My girlfriend was found yesterday. Today, she met with a couple at her request not mine. After seeing them hold the baby, she admitted to me that the couple had a deep emotional bond to that baby, more than she felt when she felt the baby. I would never force her to give up her baby. This baby isn't meant to be ours, though. We both understand that. We're too young and not in a good financial position. My ex is still earning a degree. I'm still working my way to management. This baby is meant for that couple who can offer so much more. Babies need more than just love, regardless of what people say. I would never force her into a relationship with me for any reason, especially not as an award. My ex knows this about me. We've been together as a couple since 8th grade. It's okay you're concerned for her. I'm grateful for that. Kindly Mango says, so you thought there was some scenario where you continue the relationship with the mom of your child, but also not be in the child's life except financially? How the heck could that have worked? Fleet and Flotilla says, I think he gave options because he mentioned they discussed adoption and pregnancy termination in his last post, and that she chose to keep the baby and end the relationship, but then freaked out when the reality of the choice settled in. OP says, for one, we don't live together. She still lives with her parents and she goes to college. I live alone. My apartment is too small to support 2 people. I would, like any other guy in a relationship with a single mom. But that is the end of that story.